Alright, here we go again. Time for a new solo journey on an official PvP server. Let's get started. So the new chapter 2 update for the Age of War just came out recently, and this new update has brought a lot of new changes to Conan that have affected the early game progression to end game. So I figured this would be the perfect time to start a brand new solo journey to explore some of these new changes and try and come up with a new progression route to end game. Now our mission for today, day number 1, is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to try and reach level 60 within the next 2 to 4 hours, and then tomorrow for day number 2 we'll focus on gearing up and preparing to take on the server. Alright, so first things first, just like every new beginning, we'll start by gathering some sticks and stones and crafting ourselves the essential tools and weapons. Now that we have some basic weapons and tools, we're gonna make our way to Sinner's Refuge, located right over here, and then we'll begin our power leveling adventure. As we make our way to Sinner's Refuge, we're gonna collect as much aloe along Noob River as possible because we'll be needing tons of it for the rest of this episode. When you're just starting out, you can never have enough aloe. Check it out, I already see a player running over there. Really hoping they didn't just clear out Sinner's Refuge before us, because I actually already tried to record this episode earlier today, but there were too many people online at the time. There wasn't any brimstone left at Sinner's Refuge. So now I'm playing really late at night, hoping that we won't have to compete for brimstone and black ice. So yeah, the best time to power level, if you can, is to do it either really late at night or really early in the morning when there's less people online. Or else if you do it during the day when the server is most active, it's gonna take you a really long time because you'll be waiting for brimstone and black ice to respawn most of the time. But anyway, we just made it to Sinner's Refuge. We're gonna go ahead and set up this bedroll here just in case we die, and we'll also go ahead and cook some gruel for a cheap sated buff. Alright, we got some gruel for the road. Now let's head inside Sinner's Refuge. We'll start by taking out these thralls right outside. Nice, there we go, that's both of them. Now let's see if there's any brimstone in here. Yes, there is. Looks like we're in luck. Now all we gotta do is just farm all the brimstone in here, and hopefully we'll reach level 20 within one respawn cycle.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Now I'm actually checking to see what kind of loot they drop, because one new cool change that has come with this chapter 2 update is that all the loot dropped from thralls and chests has been completely revamped. So now we can actually get some pretty decent loot from these thralls and chests.
Attack!
I never wanted to be here.
Really hoping that eventually one of these thralls will drop me some decent armor and maybe a weapon for the road. Alright, so we made it to level 11, and now we're gonna invest all of our attribute points into expertise in order to unlock the efficient harvest perk, which will grant us twice as many resources from the final hit, and this means that we'll get double the experience from farming, thereby speeding up our power leveling. Check this out, we just found a tier 4 thrall. This guy might actually give us some better loot than these other thralls. check it out, just got a full set of armor. Not the best durability on any of these items, but you know what, I can't really complain. This is way better than what we just had on. Now all that we're really missing is a decent weapon so that we can kill these thralls a bit quicker. Nice, there we go. I believe that's all of the brimstone in this cave. We gained a few levels, so now let's go ahead and invest the rest of our attribute points into expertise so that we can max it out by the time we reach level 20. So now that we've cleared Sinner's Refuge, we're gonna head over to Gallaman's tomb located right over here, and this place is just another brimstone cave that's really close by. Alrighty, just made it to Gallaman's tomb, and I just want to make a quick correction. If you're actually following along in the video, this cave is actually located right over here. So the game plan for this cave is just the same as the last one. We're just gonna farm all of the brimstone inside. Alright, here we go. Hopefully this will be enough to make it to level 20. You don't really have to kill any of the crocodiles in here. If all you have are stone weapons, you can just run around them as you're farming the brimstone. There we go, that should be all of the brimstone. I think we should have enough attribute points now to max out our expertise. My goodness, and of course, as fate would have it, we are one level away from being able to max out our expertise. So that means we're gonna head back to Sinner's Refuge once again and quickly do one more brimstone run there before we can move on with our adventure. Alright, I think we're back now. I had to wait about 20 minutes for the server to restart twice, but we should be good now to continue power leveling. So for the second run of Sinner's Refuge, I'm just gonna skip to the good parts if I find any good loot or when I level up, just so that you don't have to watch me go through this cave once again since we already did it. Alright, so that's finally level 20 and we can now unlock the Beast of Burden perk, which is an absolutely necessary perk in early game because now we're going to be able to loot pretty much everything we want and we won't have to worry about being over encumbered. You know what, since we've had such bad RNG with getting a decent weapon from these thralls, I'm just going to start collecting these bone arrows because we'll probably use them later on today. Look at that, finally got what we were looking for. We got ourselves an iron weapon now. Now we're just gonna finish off the rest of the brimstone and then move on to our next destination. Alrighty, I think we're good to go. We made it to level 22 and got ourselves the Efficient Harvest perk as well as the Beast of Burden. Now we're going to start investing our points into Vitality because we are going to need as much health points as possible to survive in the frozen north. Alright, so we're going to start heading west now towards the obelisk at the Dregs, and as we're making our way there, we're going to collect as much aloe as possible along the river, because once we get to the frozen north later on in the video, these aloe potions will be the only thing keeping us alive. Okay, I got a few stacks of aloe leaves. I should probably get a few more just to be safe, but I think this will do for now. So now that we are done with that, let's head over to the Dregs and attune our bracelet at the obelisk. There we go, we got our first obelisk, and now we're gonna head over to Sepermeru and travel along the green wall to avoid running into any players while we're leveling up. Alrighty, here we are, made it to Sepermeru, and our plan here is going to be to loot some of the chests that are spread out throughout the city on the rooftops of some of these buildings. These chests that you can find throughout the city have always been known to have some decent loot inside, so I'm sure now that loot has been revamped, the loot's going to be even better now. Yep, look at that. On our first chest, we just got ourselves a pickaxe, which is definitely going to come in handy once we start farming some black ice. Now we're going to gain even more experience when we're out farming. That was a really good first chest. This pickaxe even comes with full durability, so we're going to be able to use it for the rest of this episode. But anyway, now we're going to go find some chests to loot, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't really know the exact location for any of these chests. I usually just go around and check every rooftop, but if you're interested, you can always search for a video that will show you the exact locations. So now what I'm really hoping to find is maybe a better weapon and some silver coins so that we can go buy some stuff from the merchant. Now for our second chest, we get a perfected steel spear, which is an excellent find for us since the spear is our main weapon of choice. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this new improved loot that came with this new update. I'm just surprised that it wasn't like this to begin with, cause before this update, the loot drops were just so useless. Now we actually have an incentive to want to look around and pick stuff up. What's really cool is that since we unlock the Beast of Burden perk, we can pretty much loot all the chests we want, and we can take everything we need without having to drop anything. So we popped open a few chests and managed to get some pretty decent loot out of some of them. Most importantly, we picked up a pickaxe that's going to help us gain more experience when we're farming. We also got a bunch of steel weapons that are going to come in handy later on. Lastly, we also got ourselves 15 silver coins, which we're going to use to buy some spicy food that will help us have an easier time surviving in the Frost Temple instead of just relying on aloe potions. So now let's buy some spicy food, and if you're following along, here's the map location for the merchant, and all you gotta do is talk to this guy over here.
What can I get you?
There we go, all done with that, and now we're ready for our next destination. So at this point in the journey, if you weren't as lucky and didn't get some kind of pick to farm some black ice, don't worry too much about that. There's going to be other opportunities in the future for you to get yourself something better than a stone pick. I would, however, recommend that you at least open enough chests to at least get some kind of steel weapon to replace your stone ones. And also, it would be a good choice to buy some spicy food as well, just to make your life easier in the future. Alright, next in our agenda, we're gonna make our way to the Brim Lake obelisk to attune our bracelet, and it can be pretty risky to go here right now while you're carrying everything with you, since this is the second most popular obelisk. So if you don't want to risk getting sent back to the desert, you can always skip this part. Nice, there we go, we got our second obelisk, and now we're going to make our way all the way up here to the Mounds of the Dead. Alright, made it to the Mounds, and the first thing we're going to do, like always, we're going to go attune our bracelet. There we go, we got the obelisk, and now the second thing we'll do, we're going to look for a nice place to set our bedroll and stash some of our loot. Our objective here is going to be pretty simple. Since all of the loot has been revamped, we're going to farm some of the thralls here and see if we can get ourselves maybe a star metal pick, and if we're really lucky, maybe we'll get my second favorite weapon, a star metal great axe. Some heavy armor would also be really nice, so we'll look for that as well. Alright, here we go. We're gonna need to be real careful because these thralls hit super hard and we have 0 strength and very little vitality. Our damage isn't too bad, it's not the greatest, but at least it's not like 100 hits with a stone pike. Good thing we managed to get this steel spear at Sepermeru. Definitely don't want to be here with stone weapons, it would take forever just to kill one of these. Yeah, Wow, look at that damage. 2 swings and I'm almost dead. Alright, well, I ended up killing a few more thralls, but the loot has been pretty underwhelming, so I think it's time for plan B. We're gonna try and bring down the Cimmerian Berserker, which is a tier 4 thrall, so it should drop the best loot. I believe this one has a 100% spawn rate, and you can find it here. Now, to avoid getting slaughtered by it, we're gonna use the bow and arrows that we have picked up, and also we're gonna use these blue skeletons to help us weaken it. Alright, so check it out, almost a full set of armor and a star metal hammer. I think we'll go kill a few more thralls using the bow and arrow and see if we can get lucky again. I think it's definitely a good idea to pick up all those bow and arrows from the thralls at Sinner's Refuge. They'll make it much easier to kill the thralls here. You won't have to get your hands dirty and you won't risk getting 3-shotted by one of these thralls. Well, I think that's about it for the Mounds of the Dead. We didn't get a star metal pick or a great axe, but we did end up getting some nice heavy armor that's gonna help us tank some hits. We're gonna go pick up our loot now and start making our way to our final destination. So at this point in our adventure, if you still don't have a decent pick to farm with, don't worry, there's still one more place where you might be able to get something better than a stone pick. I'm sure most of you already know this, but with this new update, the blood pick vendor at the Kuruk dungeon has been removed. So part of this new early game progression route is hoping that you'll get lucky and score some kind of pick to farm with at all these various locations that we have visited so far. So our final destination is going to be the Frost Temple. We're gonna get there by traveling across this massive ridge here. And as we make our way across it, we're going to be farming all of the ice and black ice that we find. Now, before we start heading there, if you're not an experienced player, you might want to set a bedroll down just in case you die along the way. Some parts along this ridge will get really cold and you'll start to lose health, but you can just pop some potions as you're traveling across it and you should be okay. See, over here I'm already getting really cold, but you can just pop a potion and you'll make it across it just fine. But if things get really bad, just eat some spicy food and you'll be okay. So this first area here along the ridge will have a ton of black ice and ice, so make sure that you stop by here. You don't have to kill any of the monsters here, just farm and make sure to stay in motion. And like I said before, don't worry too much if all you have is some stone pick. You can still reach level 60 with just a stone pick. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, but hopefully at our next location you'll get lucky and find an improved pick. Alright, there we have it. Caught a few more levels there, and now we're just going to keep moving along the ridge. We're going to continue to invest our points into vitality just to get as much health as possible before we get to the Frost Temple. Now once you make it to this area here, you'll find a nice cluster of black ice to farm. Alright, I think that's about it for this area. We're going to keep moving now. We're almost at the end. Now once you make it to around this area here, you're going to want to slide all the way down. Now before we head to the Frost Temple, I'm just going to pay a quick visit to this giant's camp here and loot the chest, see what kind of loot they give you. That was all completely worth it. We just got ourselves a black ice weapon. Just be careful if you're a new player, because you don't want to get hit by one of those giants, or else you'll get a cold snap. That can definitely kill you in a cold environment. But yeah, here we are. We have officially made it to the Frost Temple at last. Now we're just going to build a little shack out here just in case we end up dying inside the temple. Alrighty, I think we're good to go now. I set down a new bedroll and I left some aloe, some spare armor, and some spicy food. Just in case we end up dead, we can at least retrieve our corpse. So we got some black ice out here, and that's always a good sign that no one's been inside the temple in some time. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if we're the only ones here. We'll just sneak past all these giants. And we'll eat some spicy food as well. And good news for us, we're the only ones here. Let's start leveling. This is for sure the most satisfying part of the video, when all these levels just start pouring in. By the way, I did want to mention that even though I have all this armor and this pickaxe, that this can all still be achieved with some simple plant fiber armor, a stone pick, and a ton of aloe potions. Leveling would just be a bit slower and more tedious because of the cold temperature in here. But if you wanted to just come straight here from Sinner's Refuge after you reach level 20 without looting anything along the way, you could very much do that and still be able to power level up to level 60. Yeah, check this out. We got here around level 33 and we're now level 41. We can now finish maxing out our vitality and start maxing out our agility. By the way, I also made a slight mistake. There's actually these two chests here right underneath the staircase, and these chests have the potential to have a black ice pick and some really good early game weapons. So make sure to check these when you get here, because this is an excellent pick to use to power level. I bet if I had used this before I farmed all the black ice here, I would have probably gained a few additional levels. Alright, we're gonna go test our luck a bit more. We're gonna go pop open a few more chests. There's two more right underneath this staircase as well. By the way, is it just me, or did they buff this dungeon and add way more frost giants in here with this chapter 2 update? It just feels like there's way more now. Alrighty, I got a quick little update. We have made it to level 45, 15 more levels to go, but unfortunately we are running very low on spicy food and aloe, so we might need to make a quick trip back to Sepermeru and gather some more aloe and buy some more spicy food. I did open up some coin purses that we picked up earlier today, so we do have some silver coins to buy some more spicy food. So I think we're gonna go do that real quick and then finish off the rest of the 15 levels. Thankfully for us, this server does have a map room here, so we get to save on time.
What can I get you?
Alrighty, we're back. Now let's get these final levels. Oh, and look at that, we just got ourselves another pick. It's a really good sign. That means that they're really common in these chests. Alright, I think that's all the black ice in this room. Let's go see what else we can find. Dang, that's crazy. We just got 2 picks in 1 chest. Forget the old meta of having to buy a blood pick. All you need is a black ice pick from here and you're good to go now. Okay, so now that I've basically gone through my first early game playthrough since chapter 2 came out, I think I'm gonna do things a little bit differently next time that I gotta power level up to level 60. So the first thing I'm gonna do will be to farm some brimstone at Sinner's Refuge and Gallaman's Tomb until I reach level 20. And then once I've reached level 20 and unlocked the Beast of Burden perk, I'm still gonna head over to Sepermeru and get enough silver coins to buy at least 50 to 60 spicy food and really load up on aloe leaves. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna come here directly to farm some black ice, and eventually I should get a black ice pick and finish off the rest of my levels. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be my speedrunning route to level 60, and I'll just do all that with some plant fiber armor and a stone pick until I get here. Alright, just a few more nodes and we'll be at level 60 and finally be done with today's mission. I got tired of waiting for the black ice to respawn, but now we're out here looking for ice. Almost there, just a few more. And there we go, that is level 60. At last, we have completed our day 1 adventure and we can finally get out of here and go do something a little bit more exciting than just farming nodes. Let's go back to base and pack up our stuff and go find a nice spot to body vault until day 2. Oh, and real quick before we get out of here, I just want to show you everything that we got from the Frost Temple. I know I said this already, but if you're looking for an early game replacement for the blood pig that we used to be able to buy at the Kurek dungeon, then look no further, because as you just witnessed, you can get plenty of ice pigs here that will get the job done just as well for power leveling. Alrighty, so I think that's pretty much it for day 1. I'm gonna go find a place to body vault and then we'll be back for day number 2. So make sure that if you've made it this far into the video and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this new journey is just getting started.